はい、始まりました。どうも、ライオンです。シャーロック・ホームズ、クライムズ&パニッシャーズやっていく。パニッシャーズじゃねえな。パニッシュメンツやっていきたいと思います。まあ、簡単に言うと、シャーロック・ホームズになって謎を解くといったゲームでございます。新規ゲーム、早速やっていきましょう。ウクライナの天国の100を記念してまあ私はシャーロック・ホームズについてはまあその映画とかドラマとかで見たことあるくらい、原作は中学生ぐらいの時に図書室で何冊か読んだかなぐらいなんで、そんなにこうすごい知ってるってわけではないですね。こりゃワトソンかな。ああ、こうなんか目隠しして銃で撃つみたいな。動かす。あ、なんか今一瞬出た。隠れる。危ない、撃たれるぞ。まあ隠れる。馬の経過はああ、完全に狂ってん。何言ってん。シャーロックはな、狂ってるんだ。今に始まったことじゃないさ。
Stop, Holmes!
Is that you, Watson?
Yes, of course it is. And you almost killed me.
Nonsense. I was aiming for the vases.
Blindfolded? You...
Watson, quiet, please. I'm trying to concentrate.
自信に満ちた不調、手錠の音。警察官。ああ、これこう音だけでこう当てるみたいなね。
Lestrade. What is it this time?
He can see me. Well, here it is, and it's a good one, Mr. Holmes. A gentleman by the name of Peter Carey, also known as Black Peter, has been murdered.
ブラックピーター殺害されました。
What happened here?
Oh, Mr. Holmes, how could you?
It's the only exercise I've had all week. A grateful client from Limoges
唯一
sent me
の
a
運
vase
動なのだ
collection
よ。
this morning. I couldn't think of a better use
唯
for
一
it.
とは
You're out of your mind.
I missed 4 out of 10.
Given you were blindfolded, that was very good. Can I have a try?
バカ
Am
が
I the only sane one here?
バ
I
カだ
suppose
っ
that
たの
Watson
か。
is right, Inspector. A little brain work would be preferable now. Do please tell us
10
more
を
about
中
Black
4つ
Peter.
外したリボルバーで
Born in
弾の
1845 and 50 years
詰め
old.
替えもやったんです
An
か。
ambitious sort, he achieved much success in seal and whale hunting around Scandinavia. Retired in 1884 with a small fortune. He invested his money in a property called Woodman's Lee, near Forest Row in Sussex. It was where he lived for 6 years, and where he was found dead yesterday.
Has the investigation already begun?
Yes and no. In fact, this crime is so mysterious that I would prefer you to join me down there.
Give me half an hour to prepare, Inspector.
Take your time and join me there. I have to go through the yard first. The Medi men struck again.
What have they done this time?
They robbed a powder reserve. I'll meet you at Woodman's Lee, Mr. Holmes.
I should help Mrs. Hudson here. I also have several appointments that I must keep this afternoon.
I shall go alone then.
Mr. Holmes, I'm over here. Come on.
いきますよ。レストレイドと交流する完了。はあ、石の小道。石の小道の周辺足跡。 足跡調
These
べる。
footprints appear to be quite large. It seems that the garden was well maintained.
他になんか見れそうなものは。
Mr. Holmes?
あ、メリコンで。
Mr. Holmes?
はい、ホームズです。ホームズです。
It seems that the garden was well maintained.
どうもこんにちは。
Inspector Lestrade, when will you remove my husband's body? It's sacrilegious to leave him here like this.
As soon as we can, Mrs. Carey, I assure you. Allow me to introduce you to Mr. Sherlock Holmes. He's a detective. No doubt you've heard of him. I'll wait for you in front of the cabin, Mr. Holmes.
My condolences, Mrs. Carey.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes.
あの晩何か変わっていたことは。
Madam, can you tell me if you saw or heard anything unusual upon the night of the murder?
At 2 o'clock in the morning, I heard a terrible scream. But I thought nothing of it then. He was
酒癖の悪い旦那だな。
drunk.
The garden is very large and well maintained. Do you employ someone to look after it?
It is true, there is a lot of work, but my husband took care of it himself.
死体を見つけ
Do
る。
you remember at what time you found your husband's body?
In the morning, at around 7 o'clock, I noticed the cabin door was open, but I didn't go in to take a look, for I knew my husband would not have liked it. At around 10 o'clock, I dared to glance in through the door and... Oh dear.
とか
Can you please tell me what occurred on the evening of the murder?
Well, Peter got drunk in the evening. He was in such a terrible temper. Usually whenever that happened, he'd stay all night drinking in his cabin before passing out.
ホーム
Was
変
your
わったの
husband
か
accustomed to
あ
receiving
そうなんだ。
visitors?
Oh no, I don't think so. I mean, he didn't really have many friends. He lived quite an isolated life here, after his retirement.
こう殺見した奥さんでしょうけどなかなか何を見りゃいいのこれ。カメよ。おーさっきの絵の荒々しい人とは全然こう違う感じの雰囲気の奥さんですね。あーなんか見逃した。何見逃した？なんか見逃している。なんかあんの？あ、なんだ。完成した人物像。
You have indeed suffered a great loss, Mrs. Carey. Nevertheless, I believe it will be less of a burden for you soon.
Yes, life with Peter was never easy, but he was still my husband.
He was different, wasn't he, when you first met him upon your return from Plymouth?
Yes, Mr. Holmes. Oh my goodness, but how do you know about that?
素晴らしい盗撮力。
You undertook a pilgrimage to the
やばい、
cathedral
ここ
of
に時間ないのに
Santiago
いろいろ
de
やんなきゃいけないわ。
Compostela
むずい。
when you were young. That much is evident from the rosary in your hand. The shortest route for the pilgrim from England to Spain is from Plymouth. I believe that you met Peter Carey as a young sailor there, and you married him soon afterwards.
That is indeed what happened, Mr. Holmes. How extraordinary.
もうそれはびっくりよ。
Thank you, madam.
次はお前だ。
Mr. Holmes?
はい、ホームズです。 何かないかな。走るホームズ。ホームズです。
Peter Carey's body is inside the cabin. We took care not to touch anything.
Okay, thank you.
The door is locked.
Wait just a moment, Mr. Holmes, and I'll open it. I locked it yesterday to ensure that no one should enter the cabin and tamper with the evidence.
Ah, good thinking.
Hello, hello, hello.
What is it, Lestrade?
It seems to me that
ど
someone
う
has
い
tried
う
to
表
force it,
情
Mr.
なのよ
Holmes.
今の。
Let me
あれ
see.
あれあれみたいな。間違えた。扉。引っ掛け傷。
These scratches are fresh. You're right. Someone tried to force open the door.
I swear these scratches were not here yesterday.
Now, a mysterious visitor came here last night.
Well, he's not the man for the job. This lock is not a difficult one.
Perhaps he did not have the right tool.
まあ何はともら早く開けようぜ。開けるって3回ぐらいやってるからな。これは
What a terrible way to die.
なかなかホラーゲームみたいな死に方しやがって。ちょっと一旦ね。
The ship's logs of the Sea Unicorn for the years 1878 to 1884. Peter Carey was her captain. Harpoons for hunting whales.
捕鯨用でぶっ刺されたと。
Someone drank from this glass recently.
タバコ入れ。
The initials PC have been crudely burned. A sailor's work.
開ける。何か特別変わったことは。
This aroma is
何これ
familiar, but to recognize it, I must construct my associations in one picture.
あ、そういう感じ。あ、やっときたー。
This is a coarse tobacco,
シビアー。
strong and very
コン
popular
トローラー
among
むずいっ
sailors.
す。Xbox コントローラーでは。
Rum, a sailor's drink. It seems that Captain Carey was enjoying a drink before he
誰
met
と飲ん
his
だの？
death.
グラス2つあるよ。怪しげな空間。埃の中の輪郭。
This place is not covered with dust.
なんか置いてあったんでしょうね。
An object was taken from here. It was larger than a book, a box or a small chest, perhaps.
Small jet。
The
マッコウ
tooth
クジラの
of a sperm whale, probably from one of Peter Carey's
マッ
catches.
コウクジラってこんな歯なの？恐ろしいわね。なんか特に出てこない。お、なんだ？
Dundee.
こんなもんですか？調べるとしましょうか。
The weapon fully penetrated the body. The force of the blow was immense. This man is in his 50s, yet he still looks quite strong.
この手でちょっと今にしては年寄ってるな。
Peter Carey was fully dressed. He was not caught by surprise. It is possible that he knew his murderer.
他には写真なんかあるけどね。
Peter Carey was impaled to the wall by a whaling harpoon.
あと、なんだ、血の海。ナイフあるよ。
This wooden handle is plain and solid.
歯の方を
This
調べ
blood
ま
was
しょう
from。the pool underneath the dead body. Peter Carey tried to defend himself with this knife, but he did not succeed.
これなんだ。
JHN are probably the initials of the owner of this notebook.
なんか。
The pattern of the blood stain indicates that the notebook was not lying on the floor prior to the crime, but it was dropped into the pool of blood after the death of Peter Carey.
手帳を開ける。なんだこ
These
れ。
abbreviations mean something, but what?
わい。一連の関連した手がかりを見出し。違う。急に何これ。待ち伏せを計画する。
Someone was here yesterday. They attempted to force the door to gain entry.
そうだね。そういうことか。完了。地図がな。地図がもうちょっと調べられそう。ダンディーここになんか。
Hammerfest. It's a whaling map.
地図はこれでよしと。じゃあ、刑事さんに話して。
Well, Mr. Holmes, what do you think?
I think that we are lucky.
And why is that?
Because of last night's attempted break-in.
Oof, you've lost me.
It is very probable that whoever came here hoped to find the door open. They tried to force it with a knife blade, but they failed. What will they do? Why, return tonight, when they will be better prepared.
Aha! So what do you propose?
We shall remain on the outside, near the window, where we stand the best chance of catching sight of our visitor.
拳銃の用意はなかなか荒々しいな。
We have a long night ahead of us.
夜勤ってことですか？夜勤ですね、これ完全に。完了。操作をするで、どうすればいい？あ、用を余すんじゃない。まさかここで一晩過ごそうっての。ここか。夜になるのが早いんじゃ。ずっと待ってたのもしかして。
Shh. Did you hear that?
誰だてめえは。
There's someone there. I'm gonna collar him.
I'll be right behind you.
警察官まで。
Police! Hold it right there.
誰
Mr.
なの
Holmes. All right, my fine fellow. Who are you and what are you doing here?
You're detectives, I suppose. You imagine that I'm connected with the death of Captain Carey. I assure you I'm innocent.
Innocent? And what are you doing in his cabin?
Shall I tell you? You came to retrieve what you had lost after killing Peter Carey, but we were here waiting for you.
What is your name?
John Hopley Nelligan, but I didn't...
Do you deny that you came here yesterday?
No, but yes, it's just that I couldn't...
I'm tired of this. Off we go to the yard. Tomorrow, I'll see that you're put in front of the judge.
What? But you can't! I'm not...
う
It's a
んでも
terrible
手帳
mistake.
は落としてたんじゃないの
Enough! You can explain all of that to the judge. You're coming with me to the yard.
But...
In light of recent events, it seems evident that your coming here was unnecessary. All the same, I'm very grateful to you, Mr. Holmes.
You are welcome, Inspector, but please don't be too hard on our young fellow. I would like to question him tomorrow morning.
まあイニシャル的にはね彼ですね。スコットランドヤード。はーい、ということでね、今回はここまでです。最後までご視聴ありがとうございました。もしよければまた次回も遊びに来てください。それではまた次回お会いしましょう。さよなら。